There's a room in my house that everyone has an opinion about. Some days I'll be sitting at home when a gaggle of people barge in, uninvited, to inspect the room. They warn me, it's no use sitting empty. Think of the potential. Be more grateful. Some people aren't lucky enough to have a room like this. I'm sorry for them, of course, but why did they get to decide what I do with my room in my house? Daily, I'm interrogated from every angle. How many people have passed through here? How long did they stay? And then, squinting at me with hushed voices, did they leave or did you evict them? They look at me like I'm a monster, a landlord from hell to a room that's always been vacant. This just won't do, they chastise. And who wants an old, used room anyway? Storming out in disgust, they don't hear my sighs of relief. As the years go by, I place a padlock and chain around the room, only to have men in suits show up with paper bolt cutters to tear it down. Men, women, and children saunter in with buckets of paint, ladders, hammers, and a measuring tape. They legislate to redecorate before, in their words, it gets too late. They tell me I need a minimum of 3 previous occupants and to marry a man who'll decide for me before they trust a silly little woman like me to place a lock on her own property. Without my locks, I live in fear that one day I'll wake up and find an unwanted guest in my spare room. A plague or pest or strange dark mould will sneak in, at first so subtle I don't even notice, but quickly and quietly it will spread through the rest of my home, decaying and degrading as it goes. The neighbours pop round and tut at me as I'm furiously scrubbing the walls until I bleed, and remind me that each life is precious and that they'd kill for a spore or two of their own. They don't realise that where they see pets and guests, I only see pain and pests, so unwelcome. I'd rather burn my home to the ground than keep them there. A friend of mine has a roommate who keeps her up all night and makes a lot of noise and leaves her stuff all over the house. And she often asks me, with bags under her eyes and pity on her face, and maybe just a quiet hint of envy in her voice, doesn't it get quiet, lonely, sad? Sure, you like the silence now, she warns, but what about the future? You'll change your mind. I want to remind her that I didn't comment when she painted her walls bright pink or spent 3 months' wages on a new sofa or built 2 new extensions before she paid off the first, but I don't, because it's still not my business. There's a room in my house, and sometimes it feels like everyone's voice is louder than mine. But when I'm alone, I can sit in that room and enjoy it, appreciate it, really get to know it. I run my fingers along its smooth walls and lay on the thick, soft carpets and stare up at the unblemished ceiling. I bask in the calm and the quiet and inhale the scent of freedom and home and the joy of being alone that is so uniquely me. And once I reminded myself that empty does not mean it is without purpose, without beauty, without joy. Empty is not lonely or cold or wasted potential. Empty is exactly what I make of it. My responsibility, my gift, and my burden. And I won't bend or break or lean or fall. I'll maintain my right to close the door because I can. And I close the door because there's a room in my house and it's all mine.